It is Venkatesh. Okay. So, Hare Krishna. Sai, how are you? Srina's from somewhere. So, okay. मेरे को और एक I just remembered one more story. एक बार ने I think Mayank might know because Mayank is a pandit anyway. But it's एक एक बार एक शिष्य ने गुरुजी के पास गया और बोला कि गुरुजी मेरे को एक बड़ा पावरफुल मंत्र दीजिए। वो मंत्र जैसा होना चाहिए, वो महामंत्र होना चाहिए और वो उनके ऊपर और भी कुछ मंत्र नहीं होना चाहिए, मोस्ट पावरफुल मंत्र मेरे को दीजिए, ऐसा बोला है। तो गुरुजी ने बोला हाँ ठीक है, तो मैं दे दूँगा, आप कल सुबह आ जाइए, अच्छा से स्नान लेके, नो जस्ट like the way they give initiation. So the shish came next morning, well dressed, everything, took nice bath and सब कुछ, new dress and everything, and he was expecting something miracle to happen. तो आ गया वो, he came and then there was a yajna also, yajna was done and everything, and then finally Guru Maharaj said, okay, today I am going to give you Diksha. And then he said, so your mantra will be Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that is your mantra. You have to chant for the rest of your life. तो शिष्य ने थोड़ा दुखी हो गया, अरे गुरुजी क्या है, मंत्र तो मेरे को पहले ही मालूम था, आज देने का क्या मतलब है? मैं जब से छोटा था तब से मेरे को ये मंत्र पता है, मेरे को आई नो दिस मंत्र एंड एवरीबडी नोज दिस मंत्र, सो व्हाट इज सो स्पेशल अबाउट इट? तो I was expecting something better, something esoteric. तो गुरुजी ने बोला ओके बेटा जरा एक काम करो बोल के called him. Then he gave him a big थोड़ा बड़ा पत्थर जैसा दिया, stone like a, and it was shining. And गुरुजी said ये पत्थर लेके जाओ, एक्चुअली ये पत्थर नहीं है, ये हिंदी में डायमंड को क्या बोलते हैं? हीरा है ही, लेकिन अभी उनको शेप और कलर कुछ नहीं किए थे, आप इनको लेके जाइए और बाज़ार में बेच के आइए, और इनका दाम तो आपको पता है ना, बहुत ही वेरी कॉस्टली, तो आपको सही दाम इनका मिलना चाहिए, फिर किसी को बेच के आइए। तो शिष्य ने बोला चलो ठीक है, ओके करेंगे बोल के लिया है वो। तो गुरुजी ने आज्ञा दिया तो करेंगे बोल के जा रहा था, तो जा रहा तो रिक्शा में बैठा हो, तो रिक्शा वाला हरे कृष्णा बोल के बोला, अरे इनको भी हरे कृष्णा, सबको पता है हरे कृष्णा। फिर उधर कुछ माता जी कपड़े धो रहे थे, वो भी हरे कृष्णा, अरे उनको भी पता है, सबको पता है हरे कृष्णा क्या है। तो ठीक है, एनीवे पूछा, शिष्य ने पूछा है कि रिक्शा वाला को, अरे भाई साहब अब मेरे पास एक है हीरा, आप कर सकते हैं क्या? तो रिक्शा वाला दिखाइए, बोला दिखाए। तो रिक्शा वाला देखा, हाँ ठीक है 5-10 रुपये देंगे, क्या बात है, कोई बात नहीं दीजिए। हम और हमको ये रिक्शा करते रहते ना, तो कभी कभी इधर उधर खुजली होते रहते, तो हम यूज़ करेंगे वो। मतलब क्या बात कर रही है, ये हीरा है भाई, हीरा, पागल है क्या? अंदर रिक्शा तो क्या है, हमारा तो काम बस वही है। अच्छा आई नॉट सेल दिस, मैं आपको नहीं भेजूंगा, छोड़ जाओ जाओ। फिर माता जी कपड़े धो रहे थे, उनके पास गए, माता जी आप कुछ नहीं, एक आदमी कपड़े धो रहा था, उनके पास गए, तो आदमी से पूछा आप इनको कुछ दान दे सकते हैं क्या? तो वो आदमी वॉशरमैन, कपड़े धोने वाले, तो उन्होंने बोला हाँ दे सकता हूँ, क्यों नहीं, कभी कभी मेरे कपड़े को मेरे हाथ से नहीं, थोड़ा किसी से मारना पड़ता है, तो दीजिए, सब कपड़े एक बार लगा के मार सकता हूँ मैं। कितना दे देते हैं? 10-15 रुपये देंगे। और गुस्सा आ गया शिष्य को, अरे ये क्या है, ये तो हीरा है और इससे 10-15 रुपीज़ नहीं भेजूंगा मैं आपको। फिर माता जी के पास गया, माता जी कुछ काम कर रहे उधर, तो माता जी का हम बोला हाँ माता जी को तो पता ही होना चाहिए हीरा का क्या वैल्यू है सब. और उन्होंने गया ही वेंट टू द माता जी एंड देन ही सेड माता जी आई हैव दिस डायमंड आप लीजिए ना. तो माता जी से ये डायमंड है क्या हीरा है क्या नहीं ऐसा तो नहीं लग रहा है. हाँ ठीक है तो दीजिए 10-15 रुपए तो देंगे और हम ये बना रहे हम अभी घर में क्या बोलते हो अच्छा नहीं उनसे भी नहीं वो कावडंग का क्या बोलते हैं मैं
गोबर।
हाँ गोबर से ये बना रहे हम वो क्या बोलते हाँ तो इनको थोड़ा शेप करने में अच्छा है. तो शिष्य को बहुत गुस्सा है बोला किसी को भी भेजूंगा नहीं और बहुत दुखी ओके शाम को गया गुरुजी के पास बोला गुरुजी मैं पूरा दिन ट्राई किया मैंने ये भेजने के लिए लेकिन मैं भेज नहीं सका क्योंकि कोई भी इनका सही दाम देने वाला नहीं है. Nobody is ready to pay the price for this. So I'm not going to sell this. तो गुरुजी said similarly हरे कृष्णा मंत्र सबको पता है everybody knows हरे कृष्णा मंत्र but nobody is ready to surrender to it. So surrender to mantra means sharanagati. You take up the mantra and then you make it as whole and soul. Rupa Goswami says what is that mantra? Rupa Goswami says when I chant this mantra uh, then all my senses stop working and I feel that I need thousands of tongues to chant this mantra and I feel I want millions of ears to listen to this mantra. And then when the mantra starts chanting, dancing on my tongue and dancing in my courtyard of my heart, my whole body becomes, my all senses becomes almost numb. So this is the power of mantra. So that is Hare Krishna mantra. So we'll see, we'll read more about the mantra in the future classes. But today we'll do a quick recap. Anyone remembers anything from the last class? What did we discuss, Mike?
Just give me a small hint.
No. Why do
A bad thing happened with good people.
why do bad things happen to good people? हिंदी में बोले
अच्छे लोगों के साथ बुरी बातें क्यों होती हैं?
अच्छे लोगों के साथ बुरी बातें क्यों होती है? So why do bad things happen to good people? ठीक है ना कभी we have seen so many times there are some very nice persons people something bad happens to them. Then we think अरे क्यों हो गया ऐसा why did it happen like this? The thought naturally comes. Then we start thinking is that God भगवान है क्या? So is it like that all these doubts come into our mind. So and similarly we were discussing last week there was a Jewish rabbi. He was preaching nicely about his religion and then suddenly his son got a very rare disease and the son died. The disease he got was progeria. Progeria means what happens is the affected person becomes aged very quickly. So at the age of 14, his son died as if he became like a 100-year-old man. So this rabbi got very upset and thought that why this thing happened to me. Then he thought why God is omnipotent, omniscient, and all merciful. God all powerful. So if God is all powerful, then why did this thing happen to my son? And then if God knows everything, omnipotent, then why didn't he stop this happening to my son? And then if God is all merciful, then why did this happen to my son? So like this, he was thinking. And then he came with a conclusion saying that maybe God, it can't be that God can't be merciful. He might be merciful, and it can't be that God doesn't know what is going to happen. He is omniscient, so maybe he is all knowledgeable. But maybe God is not all powerful. Maybe his powers are limited. They work only in certain up to certain jurisdiction and restriction. And he thought, and then he said that yes, I think that is a good explanation for whatever happened to my son. The God is actually not powerful as we think. So please forgive him. ऐसा सोचा है वो. But of course, we all know that God is powerful. Then why people get confused? So that's why people get confused because they don't know the philosophy of our Shastras, Bhagavad Gita. Because their philosophy cannot explain why these things are happening. But luckily, we have Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita explains everything, why these things happen. So let us skip to Bhagavad Gita. We'll go quick because there's a lot of slides. Mayan, what is this? Alright. The mouse went there, it's not coming back here.
उसको माउस को बंद करके दोबारा ऑन करके देखिए.
So this we are saying, we'll just skip Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshan Darshanam, and definition of God, and then acquiring knowledge, and then Bhagavan, Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasriya, strength, fame, knowledge, wealth, beauty, renunciation, and difference between Bhagavan and Devatas. And then all the Sampradayas, Brahma Sampradaya, Lakshmi Sampradaya, Shiva Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. And then soul, Atma. So the presence of soul is consciousness. And then characteristics of soul, soul is indestructible. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूया अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. So the soul, for soul there is never a birth, never a death. The soul cannot be, it's not going to perish. And then further slokas Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. There's no weapon that can destroy a soul, and there's no water can, all these things we have learned. But the first thing about the soul is consciousness. Presence of soul is consciousness. We have seen this. And then, so why bad things happen? So for this we need to understand Bhagavad Gita and the 5 basic subject matters of Bhagavad Gita. And the first one we have already discussed, that is Ishvara. We have discussed about Ishvara, and also we have discussed about Jiva, the living entity, which are us, and Prakriti, the material nature and its modes. So last class we discussed about Prakriti, so the material nature, and then we'll go to it again. What is the material nature, Prakriti, and then what does it consist of? And then time, kalosmi lokakshaya krit prabuddho. Time, I am. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. He shows the 11th chapter when he shows his Kala Rupa. He shows, and Arjuna gets bewildered and he asks, Kaun hai aap? Who are you? And then Krishna says, kalosmi lokakshaya krit prabuddhe. I am the time, and I have come here to destroy everyone on both sides in the army except you Pandavas, as the Krishna says. And then karma, activity, and its concomitant reactions. So let's go. So this we have discussed. The living entity is in a jail. What is the jail that we are in?
Material world.
And then within the material world, one more jail we are in. The material body. The material body, it's got so many limitations. It gets, the problem with the material body is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. And these four things we cannot control. We can't control birth. I can't say that, okay, this life I don't want to take birth in India, maybe I'll try Australia. I'll try, I'll be born to a Australian family. Maybe they have a nice car, nice house in Turak or some mansion or something. Maybe I'll try that. You can't. Births, you cannot control. And then similarly, death, no one can control. There was one patient, he was asking the Doctor G, please, I'll give you whatever money you want. I'll give you thousands of rupees, lakhs of rupees. Just extend my life, for another 1 week, 2 weeks. Why? Because I have so many things to do. I have so many things to settle. So I want to do all that before I actually give up my body. The doctor said, I can't. It's not in my hand. So, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, disease. Nobody can get away from disease. So, we all remember how COVID times we are all running away here and there everywhere. Or sitting at home. There's disease. Everyone is afraid of disease and no one wants it. But depending on the karma, it comes, then it goes. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Old age, of course. Old age, everyone becomes old. But you can't stop it. Everyone wants to be young. Like I was telling last week, one of my friends, उनका बाल पूरा चला गया था, not like Amit Prabhu, he's got curly hair. So what he did, he bought a wig and he was wearing a wig, and then he sent me a Facebook friend request, and I was shocked, who is this person? Then I have to call one of my friends, ask him, who is this? Do you know? He looks familiar. Name also sounds familiar, but I can't. He's our degree classmate. I said, but that time he's got bald head already. Yeah, he's putting a wig now. So that is, so no one wants to get old, but then they can't. So similarly, here in the material world, we are like prisoners. So depending on the type of prisoner, we will be in either A class cell, B class cell, C class cell. So A class cell means some nice, decent prisoners or a political prisoner or something. So there is nice facility and everything. B class means limited facilities. So A class there might be aircon and TV and all that. B class there may not be aircon, maybe some radio or something and maybe some windows. C class might be serious criminals. So unko to there's nothing, there's not even sunlight. So like that we are in this material world. And then so we discussed about this Prakriti. So what is this Prakriti? The nature is made up of three gunas, Yagnesh Pavli. You know that, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So these three gunas are like three chains, three ropes. And then they bind all the living entities. And depending on the type of rope, still everyone is bound by rope. But people who are bound by Sattva Guna or a golden chain, you might say, is a little bit better off. So that's why he's in an A class cell. People who are bound by Rajoguna, they are in a second B class cell. And third one is Tamoguna. So these are all the different we have discussed last week. And then these are the three types of Prakriti we discussed last time also. So mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So Mayank, tell me, mode of goodness, what is the preferred time of day?
Morning.
Morning, yeah. So people in the mode of goodness, they get up in the morning, they do all the things in the morning timings. And people in the mode of passion, they are doing only one thing. From the time sunlight comes, They start working. They don't even go to work. Even in the train itself, they open the laptop and they are answering the emails and or also on the phone calls answering. Oh, so what happened? What happened? What about the router? Did you give the connection? Was it failing? And so and then till the time evening and lunchtime also they go quickly. They get one bread or sandwich and then just eat near the table and then keep working. Even when we are eating, they are working also, typing on the computer. Hare Krishna Prabhu. So this is mode of passion and mode of ignorance. इनको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. They don't have any. For them, the day starts in the night, and then when we are about to sleep, they'll get up and say, "Chalo, क्या करेंगे अभी? क्या करेंगे? It's a time to sleep." So no, अभी no, we'll go out, have a party or do something. So that is mode of ignorance. And then, so this is all given in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna actually explains very clearly. There's shlokas. आप इंग्लिश में पूछ रहे हैं आपको, मेरे नहीं चल कर भेज रहे हैं तो इंग्लिश सीख रहे हो, नॉट बैड. फीस दे रहे ना तो शी इज लर्निंग. तो निमाय, व्हाट यू वांट, क्या चाहिए? So the food, man, mode of goodness. What type of food people like in the mode of goodness?
Sattvic food.
उधर पढ़िए ना.
Okay.
Sweet,
Sweet, juicy, fattening,
palatable,
palatable, milk, fruits,
vegetables. So these are the food in the mode of goodness. And then mode of passion, too salty, pungent, hot, red pepper. I was telling last week, when people eat that, the sweat should be coming out like that and it should be burning in their throat and they should be saying, and then water should be coming from the eyes, ears, nose, everything. So that's, they're like, acha. So that is passion. No, it's very. See, do you believe that food or whatever we consume, it affects our consciousness? Other foods you may not notice, but one thing you can clearly notice: if someone takes alcohol, will they get affected or not? Someone consumes alcohol. So that means the food or something we consume, it affects our consciousness. So there is no doubt about it. So there was a joke. ऐसे ही एक आदमी जाके किसी से बोल रहा था. He was telling to some one of his one person. He said, "Don't drink alcohol, you will go to hell." So that person said, अच्छा, लेकिन मेरा भाई जो है वो भी पीता है, then he will also go to hell. तो उन्होंने बोला, तो मेरा जीजा जी है वो भी पीता है, so then he will also go to hell. तो बोला, तो मेरा बाजू वाला है नेबर वो भी पीता है, वो भी he will also go to hell. सब लोग नरक में गए तो मैं भी गए तो ठीक है, सब लोग बैठ के पिएंगे उधर. तो ऐसा है लोग ना. तो इट्स what to do. So food in the mode of ignorance, salt, stale, bad odor, meat and liquor. So somebody made, there was a chef, as seen in the WhatsApp, there's the topic of that was some new chef he made with all the non-veg meat, the skeleton, the bones, the face and everything, and he made it like a dead body. And then he was actually suspended from his profession, job, and he was saying, "What is this? I'm just trying to be more creative." And then they don't understand my creativity. But that is what it is, isn't it? So meat is what? It's a dead animal, and then that's people, they add preservatives to it to keep it fresh, looking nice and all that. And then on top of it, they put it in the fridge And then on top of it, they put, when they are cooking, they put all the spices and all that. Mm. and then uh, and then they eat it. So then they don't feel any smell, they don't feel any taste, the original taste, and they think, oh, it is nice. And then on top of it, they think it's healthy. No. But so many diseases they are going to get, and then they wonder, like, क्यों मेरे को आ रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है मेरे को, all these diseases, why I'm getting? Because that is what, you are eating. Bad odor. There was a story in where is that? Which place? Somewhere in northeastern states. They have this system. In front of the house, they have something called. Anyway, they have like a bucket sort of thing in front of the house. Not bucket. It's got a tight lid, everything. So whenever some dog or something dies, उनको ऐसे ही उसमें डाल देते हैं, and then they close it, and then they put some water or whatever, and they let it ferment for a long time. And then when it ferments, you get so much bad smell from it. And then after 1 month or so, they will open it, and then they will make some dish out of it, and they will eat it. So there, unfortunately, what happened? We had ISKCON center there. So in ISKCON center, and they had a look. अरे क्या हो रहा है इधर? Okay, okay, ठीक है. Then one day in the ISKCON, they are doing puris. They are frying puris, and then all the neighbors, इधर उधर उधर chant, they came like, and they are asking, what are you doing? क्या बना रहे आप? इतना बुद्धू आ रहा है. So such a bad smell is coming. What is that you are doing? So for them, making puris is a bad smell. So that is because depending on their consciousness. And then music, of course, we like bhajans, kirtans, and spiritual music. People in the mode of goodness, mode of passion. Michael Jackson. I was telling other day, someone is dancing as if he's got fits or something. So that is if those people see Bharatanatyam, they think, what is this very boring Bharatanatyam or Kathak or something? They say, kya kar rahe hain? But if it's like fits or I mean like what is that, break dance or something? Our time they used to do break dance. I don't know what they do. Some dance, metallic or what? No, that is sound.
Hip hop.
Hip hop, huh? Okay. You know that, Prabhu. Oh. Yeah. So that is agitating to mind and shattering windows. So when you play that music, ऐसा हिलना चाहिए पूरा एकदम. So that is their consciousness, mode of passion. And mode of ignorance, of course, for them, sound or no sound doesn't matter. Chalo, just pilo, kalo, so jao. Okay. So, and then this is interesting. Worship. Mode of people in the mode of goodness, what do they worship? They worship the demigods, Indra, Varuna, Ganesh, and also Krishna, Vishnu, Shiva, all that they worship all. Because they want to get good karma and go to heavenly planets so that they can enjoy more better life. Whereas people in the mode of passion, they worship powerful, influential men and demons. So some people might worship Salman Khan, or Sachin Tendulkar, or
Amitabh
Bachchan, Donald Trump. So because they like this influential men and demons. And then mode of ignorance, they worship ghosts and spirits. So tantric, all that black magic. Because this black magic is very easy to do. You don't need to follow. Actually, you do all the wrong things. For example, if you are worshipping in the mode of goodness, Satvik, Indra, Varuna, Ganesh, then you have to follow some rules and regulations. At least that day you don't eat non-veg and all those things. But tantric and all that, you do all the opposite. No, you drink, you eat, so that's why people in the mode of ignorance, they go to चलो करो no, स्मशान में बैठो शमशान में पूजा करो. Yes,
Prabhuji, Naga sadhus, you were talking about last time that they worship Shiva, and there are some books of Shiva Puran, and they are like tamasic. It is considered tamasic. I think.
see, Lord Shiva is so merciful. क्या
Agori
मतलब?
Baba, sorry, Agori Baba, yeah.
Agori Babas. Lord Shiva is so merciful that he actually is not affected, but then he want to reform the most fallen people, persons, souls. You know who becomes ghosts and spirits? Do you know? Anyone knows who becomes ghosts and spirits? Ghosts and spirits किधर से आता है वो? No. People who commit suicide. See, some people are very intelligent or foolish, you can say anything. What they think is, "Arey, so many problems in this life, too many deaths, or I'd say, or too many insults, or something happened." So they think everything is happening due to because of this body. So let me finish this body, then shant ho jayega, peaceful, nothing will happen. And then they give up their body. Then what happens? And they think that way they are actually escaping, escaping the karma. But Supreme Lord is so intelligent that people who do that, what happens is they won't have physical body for so many years, hundreds and thousands of years, but their subtle body remains. Mano buddhi ahankar remains. Subtle body remains. That means they can see, they can understand all the things happening in the world. So, for example, last life they like some kurma or something. They can see that they want to eat it, but they can't eat. So this is big torture. Hmm? So many things they want to do because they don't have body, they can't do it. So that's why what happens is these ghosts and spirits, they possess the body of other people. Because they don't have a body, they possess the body of other people, and through them they will actually enjoy. So these tantrics, they also do the same thing. They get these ghosts and spirits, and then they उनको बोलते हैं go and destroy this person or what. Anyway, so this is people in the mode of ignorance. And then austerity को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं? Austerity, tapasya. So tapasya, people in the mode of sattva gun, they do for the pleasure of Supreme Lord. So we do, our tapasya is fasting on Ekadashi, or half day fasting, or full day fasting, or Janmashtami, or sometimes Nirjal Ekadashi, some Bhishma Panchak, the 5 days when Bhishma Pitama was giving, talking to Yudhishthira. So those 5 days we fast and all that. So that is for the pleasure of Supreme Lord. Then people in the mode of passion, what they do? They do this for respect, honor, reverence. So who are these people? Politicians. Politicians, they do hunger fast. What hunger fast को क्या बोलते हैं मैं?
भूख हड़ताल.
भूख हड़ताल.
Fast until death.
हड़ताल तो strike. Mayank, you're misleading me.
Fast until death.
तो भूख हड़ताल ही तो ही प्रभु ने.
भूख हड़ताल?
Hunger strike.
Hunger strike को क्या बोलते हैं हिंदी में? So why they do? They do for some political reasons. They torture their body for some political, for respect. सब लोग आके, there was a movie. Actually, it's interesting. There was what's the time? There was a movie. I won't tell you about that movie because it's already 8:45. But it's a very nice movie. Next time we'll discuss about that movie. So, and then mode of ignorance, people they torture self and others. तो कुछ चेन में व्हाट इज दैट, कुछ चेन में नहीं रहते और दूसरे लोगों को भी चेन से जीने नहीं देते. So this, so yeah, no, so
Probably the question was a Guri Baba. They, even though they worship Shiva, would they be considered in the mode of ignorance?
yes, yeah. Even though they are worshipping Shiva, and in fact that's why Lord Shiva is in charge of Thamogun, destroy. Lord Shiva is the destroyer, and he is in charge of Tamogun. And not only in charge of Tamogun, he is also in charge of all the souls in the mode of Tamogun. So that is one of his duties, to actually get these people from that mode, because he is so merciful. Imagine Lord Shiva. No, actually, one of my friend, I had a friend. Um, he would come and talk to me, give me all crazy ideas. So एक बार he came to me, my colleague. I really get scared when I see him, because he's got intelligence, very dangerous mind. He said, "Arey Ramna, we have to go and ask the government to give some land." So like क्यों भाई? Why? नहीं नहीं, हम टेम्पल बनाएंगे. कौन सा टेम्पल? शिव जी का टेम्पल बनाएंगे, शिव जी का मंदिर बनाएंगे. फिर बना के क्या करेंगे? बना के टेम्पल में गांजा पिएंगे. शिव जी तो गांजा पीता ना. उसे किसने बोला, किधर लिखा है शिव जी? शिव जी एक्चुअली, हाँ, he does drink one thing. When this Samudra Manthan was happening, when Halahal was there, and that Halahal was about to destroy the whole world, out of mercy, Shivji took all the Halahal and he put it in the throat, not even take it, because that so poisonous, and because Shivji is so fair complexion, and his throat became blue. That's why he's called as Nilakanta. So he's so merciful. But he never takes ganja. No? So, I mean, I told him same thing. Shivaji never took ganja. You are all making up stories. Only thing he's taken is poison. अगर आपको चाहिए तो आप भी आप थोड़ा ले लो. No problem. You take some poison. Oh, no. So people are like this, So very dangerous people. तो थोड़ा ऐसे लोगों से थोड़ा careful रहना. Anyway, so these are the three modes. They in Prakriti. So all the living entities, they are affected by these three modes, and these three modes, they work in different combination. One person in one day can be in any of the mode. For example, someone is sleeping, then he is in the mode of ignorance. And then someone gets up in the morning, he takes nice bath, and then he's doing some puja or something, then he's a mode of goodness. And then he's running to the office, chalo karna hai, kaam karna hai, then in the mode of passion. So same person can be. So that's why Bhagavad Gita Krishna says that these modes are always trying for dominance in the material world. So sometimes Sattvagun becomes prominent, sometimes Rajagun, sometimes Tamagun. But it is said that it is important to always try to be in the mode of goodness as much as possible. Because the mode of goodness is like the springboard for us to go to Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. And that is when you actually realize the Supreme Lord. So these are the three modes, and that is what is Prakriti. So we have seen Ishvara, we have seen Jiva, and then we have seen Prakriti. So this material world, the whole material world is made up of these three modes. Just like I was telling.
I'm not sure if I missed this, but I find it very interesting that in the food section, there's sweet, juicy, and fattening.
Yeah.
Are you able to elaborate that a bit more? What's that? What does that mean?
Sweet, juicy, and fattening. Fattening means ghee. No? And then juicy means anything that is our fruit juices. And then sweets, beads, rasgulla, sandesh, all these things that made from milk and all the other milk products. और गुड़ से बनता है cane sugar. So yeah, that's
तो प्रभु जी ऐसा नहीं कि खाना ही खाना है, ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि ये हर रोज खाना ही खाना, बिकॉज कल से फिर मुझे लाना पड़ेगा सब कुछ.
and then also is palatable. Milk, fruits and vegetables. So anything you have big choice, so you can make your choice still. If you like sweets, you can eat sweet. And the best part is when you give offer. Actually, it is said that prasadam can never be in a mode of ignorance. So prasadam you can actually keep, store also and eat it. You won't get any what do you call that effect. So prasadam will always be in the mode of goodness. But then, of course, prasadam also gets spoiled and then kharab ho jayega, and then you eat it. Then what happens? We get sick and all that. But as such, it's not. It's different. It's different to eating. The people of ignorance, they do that. It's different to eating uchista. Uchista means the food that is eaten. They eat and then put it there. Then they take it out and they eat again. Then put it, So it's called uchista. So that is gone. Krishna says clearly, any food that is cooked, any food that is eaten after cooking for 3-4 hours, gone. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Actually, I'll read you the slokas once. Krishna says everything clearly. This whole chart is nothing is made up. It's all slokas. Everything there is one sloka. It's all there in Bhagavad Gita. Any questions for?
Like, so I want to ask him.
Yeah.
So probably that milk section, whatever that is,
Yeah.
probably could refer to Krishna's period, not this period.
Because you are a vegan.
I'm not a vegan, but I'm just saying that it's a mode of goodness, is what you told me. But now milk, which whatever we drink, it's not like a proper mode of goodness.
True. That's why
That shouldn't be there at the moment.
So that is why at the moment it's been almost 3 years or 3.5 years. We have been drinking only milk from a company, Ahimsa milk, called Mother Cow Dairy. Because normal milk industry, what they do, they exploit the cows and they give them hormones and do all sort of nonsense. They also add some preservatives to milk and so many things. But this Ahimsa milk that we drink is completely pure,
Quality.
no preservatives added. And then also, once the cows become old and they can't give milk, they won't be sent to slaughterhouse. And also, the calves are not taken from the mother. So that's why we pay high price also, but doesn't matter. We pay for 2 liters $9.25, $9.50, but it's worth it. And also, like especially when the milk is coming from the cow, it's so much dependent on its psychological state also. If the calf is forcefully taken from it, then what state a mother would be without its baby. So, and then what kind of milk the mother gives, the cow gives. It may have hormones which are very dangerous for our body and all that. True, that's a good point, Prabhuji. Yes, you can, but in general, and milk, and that's why we consider cow as one of our mothers. So we, as you know, we all have 7 mothers. Dhatri, Mother Earth, and wife of a guru, wife of a what do you call king, and then a nurse, our own mother, and then cow, one more. So 7 mothers we have. So that's why we never kill or against cow killing, because you are drinking milk, which means cow is like your mother. From the Vedic civilization, that's what is happening. Any other points on this one? Anyone?
Is chat in
Everything, all the slokas are there. Everything, sweet, juicy, fattening. There's a sloka. Actually, let me. Oh, it's time anyway. Next week we'll see. For everything, there's one sloka. What sort of music, uh, what sort of books they read. So many things. Krishna explains everything. Bhagavad Gita is a manual, user manual. Everything is clearly given. And then, if you want even further explanations of it, then Srimad Bhagavatam is there, where you can find a further explanation. But so these are the three modes of material nature, and by which all the living entities are bound by different chains. So these are the chains that we can't see, subtle chains, but we are bound like that. We'll stop here because it's already. Mataji? Babuji? Okay, no problem. No, I was just thinking it's a. Because my wife is not there, so what the kids are doing, I don't know. Okay. No problem. And then next in the Bhagavad Gita, we speak about. Actually, it's interesting. So we have all these five. What is that? Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. So, what do you think? All these five can be changed? You think? No. Oh, I thought.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what is that? Ishvara can be changed.
Ishvara can't be changed.
Can't be changed.
Oh, all five can't be changed.
All five. Then what about Jiva? Can be changed?
We are changing the bodies.
No, that is.
Oh, soul can't be changed.
So, what about Prakriti?
Nature. Yes, we can. We are changing the three modes of nature in a. No.
No, but just like
Okay.
Jiva, Prakriti also, when everything finishes, everything goes into the body of Mahavishnu. Yagnesh Prabhu, one more thing we discussed when you are not here, we spoke about Brahman. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, the supreme absolute truth, is explained in three different types, features of the Lord. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yet jnanam abhyamam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabhyate. So this is a big question. Bhagavan, is he sagun sakar or nirgun nirakar? So that is the question. But God is both personal and impersonal. But ultimately, God is a person. And from that person, this impersonal comes. Just like, so what do you mean? You might question me. How can impersonal thing come from a person? So there is sunlight coming from sun. So that sunlight, you can know immediately. Once you see the sunlight, you think, oh, okay, sun has risen and sunlight is coming. But you can't actually call the sunlight as sun. But it is there because of sun. Similarly, the impersonal Brahman is coming from the person Brahman. And then there is something called Paramatma. Paramatma is like the localized, means is there in everyone's heart. So for example, if you have thousands of pots with water in them, vessels, and then there is a sun shining. The sun shines on all the vessels, and then there is a reflection. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is somewhere, sun is somewhere so many light years behind, but the sunlight we can actually feel locally, the sunlight. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is, although there in his spiritual world, his expansion is there with us, Paramatma. Why is he following us? You might be wondering why God is, what do you call that? Stalking. Why is he stalking us? Because he is so merciful. We discussed about this example of mother's love for the child. So mother, when she sends the child to the school, first time, she'll just make sure the child goes to the school nicely. I mean, Mayank, I know you had sister, so she went with the sister. But mother makes mother makes sure that the child is actually going to the school. Then she goes with him up to the school and all that. She makes that he is. She also talks to the teachers, make sure Kaisa, is he studying all right and all. And then after that, the child he comes to 10th grade or so, and the child thinks he is grown up now, he doesn't need anyone. But still, mother tries to tell him, and he thinks, oh, no. So there is a fighting going on, and then father has to come and say something in between. So it's a big headache once you grow up. Anyway. So, Amit Babu, आपको तो पता होगा ना. So father has to come and compromise. Mother is still thinking that मेरा बेटा तो वही है, छोटा इतना ही है. No?
Yes.
But father has to convince, no, your son has grown up, वो बड़ा हो गया, no, you have to bring her to reality. And then son goes to college, still mother keeps track of him. And then son gets married, still she keeps track of him. अरे कभी छोड़ता है क्या? No? She calls him and asks him, खाना खाया क्या? And the wife gets angry. क्या सोच रहे, मैं नहीं दूंगा क्या उनको खाना? और she sees and asks him, अरे आप तो बहुत क्या बोलते हैं? पतले हो गए. And then wife says, मतलब क्या, मैं खाना नहीं दे रहा हूँ क्या, मैं पूरा मैं ही कर रहा हूँ क्या? So that is mother. Why mother has to take so? Because that's her love for her son. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is so merciful that He wanted to always accompany us in every body, every form that we are taking. So that's why He is coming and sitting as a Paramatma in our heart. And then He is telling us, what is that? Sarvasya chaham hudasannivishto matas smrutir jnanam apohanancha vedescha sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta krut veda vid eva chaham. Sarvasya chaham hudasannivishto. He says, I am seated in your heart. And from me comes remembrance and forgetfulness. So he is sitting in the heart and he will remind you, hey, karo, you wanted to do this, no? You wanted to jump from parachute. Chalo, do. All this, people have that, my bucket list. So he reminds, you wanted to do this, no? Karo. And then he will also make you forgetfulness. So you when you don't want to see him, then he won't actually disturb you. Okay, sure. But otherwise, he is trying to tell you, "Hey, galat hai, nahi karna hai, nahi karna." And then you tell him, "मालूम है मेरे को नहीं करना है, एक बार करना है तो ना."
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Then he will keep quiet. He won't bother again. So this way, because why does he do that? Why does a God allow a criminal to commit a murder? After all, he is there in the heart only, he could stop him. Why did he allow him to do that wrong thing? Because if you go back, we haven't come to that karma section actually, but we'll discuss in more details. We are killing so many animals for our satisfaction of our tongue. And then, so how do you, for every action there is a equal and opposite reaction. So whatever you do, you get a reaction. And then the law of karma is so amazing that it's not only physical action, it's action by your words as well. एक बार क्या हो गया? There was a king. That king was very pious king, and he used to distribute lot of annadan, and for Brahmins, Brahmanas, and also everyone. And they come, he give him nice money and gold and annadan, So one day what happened, when this annadan was going on, food was being served, there was a eagle. That eagle actually caught a snake, and then it was taking it to kill. So it's carrying, that eagle is carrying that snake. And then before the eagle carries the snake, what she does is she pokes it in a few different places, makes it like unconscious or a little bit, and then she's carrying it. Then from the mouth of the snake, few drops of poison fell in the food below, and then same food was unfortunately served to these some of the brahmanas, and they consumed it and they died. So king was unhappy, don't know what happened, everyone was unhappy. And then even young Dharmaraj was also shocked. The king was such a nice person, he was doing such a nice thing. But why did this happen? Now whom should I give this karma to? He was thinking, kisko dena hai main? Who is responsible for this? Anyway, the bird, it doesn't come under jurisdiction of karma. Snake also, it doesn't come under. Actually, you wonder, does it happen? But actually, I have seen a news sometime. So it really happened. Somebody was going on a bike and then the poison fell and he died actually. It's real, in the newspaper it came. Anyway, so this was thinking, Yamraj was thinking, Captain, kisko dena hai? And then another day, some other day, there some other brahmanas are going. And then along the side of the road, there was a woman sitting. And they asked that woman, hey, where is that address to that king's palace where he serves all the annadan karta hai na, wo kidhar hai? And that lady said, idhar hi hai, सीधा जाओ, left ले right ले. But मैं आपको क्या बोलता है चेतावनी दे रहा हूँ. और राजा है ना, उनका ये आदत है कि जो भी आता है उनको वो
खाने में जहर डाल देते.
खाने में जहर डाल के खिला देता है और लोग मर जाते हैं. So she just criticized, blaming, criticizing. Immediately Yavraj said, chalo, okay, he found the right person. Give all that karma to her. That's it. So that is what is karma. It's very subtle, very intricate. It's not black and white. मैं ये करता हूँ ये होता है. Or it's not that plus or minus. ऐसा भी नहीं है. No, in the Hindi movie they show that sometimes there is a villain and villain is drinking some whiskey or something and there is a fly that falls into the whiskey and it's dying. Then he removes that insect. उधर से निकालता है. फिर बाहर रखता है. Before that he already killed somebody. Then he thinks, okay, one life. No, sick. So it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. No, it's not black and white. So this karma is very, very complicated thing. So
And Prabhuji, that examples of the person who is killing on the street and then the army on the border.
yeah. Prabhupada gives a wonderful, brilliant example. Like a person who is in the army, when he goes to the border and he kills all the enemy soldiers, he will be given what? Paramveer Chakra or something like that. Same person comes home और उनके पास गन है और उनका बाजू वाले से कुछ झगड़ा हो गया, then वो गन निकाल के बाजू वाले को शूट कर दिया तो then they won't give him any chakra or medal, they'll put him in the jail. The difference is because that time he was working for a higher authority. This time he is actually working for himself. Similarly, when you work for Supreme Lord, so same thing. In the Arjuna was fighting, and then he was killing so many people, warriors in the Mahabharata. He didn't get any karma because he is actually following the orders of the Supreme Lord. Pavitranaya sadhuna vinashaya shadashvatam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna says, I have come here to establish dharma and then I want to get rid of all this. Bhudevi, she already came and she complained to me that I am unable to tolerate this burden of this earth. She says, too many demons. Yes, too many demons have taken birth in this, in the form of kings and all this. And they are doing too much nonsense and I am unable to bear it. So reduce the burden. So that's what Krishna does. Reduce. And then he says that Nimitta Matram Bhava Sabhya Saji. You take credit. I already killed them, everyone. But you just shoot the arrows and then you take the credit as if you killed them. So that's why Krishna sometimes gives credit to his devotees, because that is Supreme Lord. Similarly, Lord Rama gave credit to Hanuman. He gave credit as if Hanuman went and bought the Sanjeevani mountain, and it looked as if Hanuman actually saved the life of
Lakshman.
Lakshman, Ram and Lakshman. But then it's only just giving credit. And then it is said that actually even Garuda could not recognize his Lord. He saw and then said, "Is this my Lord?" Garuda thinks for a while. Because they get bewildered. This is similarly. So in Ramayana, Lord Rama glorified Hanuman, whereas in Mahabharata, Lord decided to glorify Arjuna.
Arjun.
So that time also Hanuman was there. Hanuman was sitting on he was doing a simple job, not a big job. He was sitting on the chariot, flag of the chariot of Arjuna. And then what he was doing, whenever Bhima was shouting, he would also shout, so that enemy soldiers get scared. Bhima would shout, or Arjuna would throw arrows, So he was just creating some, what you call, background effect.
Sound effects.
Sound effects. So that's a very simple duty. And I mean, Hanuman is so powerful, he himself would have just finished the whole Mahabharata. Doesn't need anyone. Gayaj or nothing. But then Krishna thought, okay, let me give credit to one more of my devotees. This time it's going to be Arjuna. And then so that's why it is said that the Supreme Lord gives powers to his devotees. He gives them special powers to do some special activities. And once the activity is done, you might just take back the power. Because ultimately, it is not the power, it is not the strength, it is not all this beauty that will actually take us back to God. It is our sincerity and our sharanagati, taking shelter of the Lord. That will take us. No, God doesn't say, oh, you are a samurai warrior or something, okay, oh no, you come back. Nothing like that. So that's why there is a nice, interesting, in Bhagavatam we see this story. When Krishna winds up his pastimes and he goes back to Goloka, then that time Arjuna goes. And then he performs all the final rites, and then he is bringing all the queens of Krishna with him in the chariots. And then some tribal people attack Arjuna. Some tribals attack Arjuna, and they all kidnap the wives of Lord Krishna. And then Arjuna was using the arrows, same chariot, same everything, but they are not working. And then Arjuna was shocked, what is this happened? Then he comes back to Yudhishthira Maharaj and says that, Vanchitoham Maharajan, he says, my dear Lord, we have been royally cheated. The Supreme Lord already left this world. Chalo, hummi kya karenge? Let's also go. And that's when Pandava decided and they go do that Mahaprasthan, they walk towards the Himalayas. So people wonder, how did tribal people can actually kidnap the wives of Krishna? They are nothing but almost like a Lakshmi Amsha. Pata hai aapko?
They are the avatars of Lakshmi Devi.
Yeah. No, but how did they be kidnapped by some tribals? No, because Krishna actually himself came as those tribals and kidnapped them. And then they disappeared. They went back to their rest. So why did Krishna has to do that? Because in all these in the heavenly planets, there are some devatas, devis, they are worshipping. They wanted to become queens of Krishna. So many people wanted to become queens of Krishna. And these devatas also they wanted to. So when Krishna was coming here to do the pastimes, all the demigods they are all coming down to do the pastimes and taking birth. So similarly, these devis they wanted to become queen of Krishna. So they are praying. So then there's a yogi, rishi called Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra came. He's a very powerful sage, Ashtavakra. He's a mystic yogi. He came and then they all took care of him nicely. And then Ashtavakra became happy with them and he gave them blessings. All right, your desires will be fulfilled. You'll become queens of Krishna in the coming time. And then Ashtavakra got up and he started walk. So the problem with Ashtavakra was he is known as Ashtavakra because his body is bent at 8 different places. So he was walking in a very awkward manner. And then looking him walking like that, some Devi started laughing and other Devis followed and everyone was laughing. Then Ashtavakra got angry and then it said that as a punishment for this, even though you become queen, you will be kidnapped by tribal persons, like that she says. Then they went and said, no, sorry, please forgive us. And then he said, okay, all right, the tribal person will be Krishna himself. So many things, unless we know the intricacies of the stories, people might think that people who believe in karma think that, oh, what is this karma? Krishna's wives themselves, there is no safety for them. What is this? It's all, I don't believe in all this. God is powerless. This is the story. That is why we need to know the Shastra. If you understand the Shastra, then things become clear for you. So this is, we are talking about time. Kalosmi Lokakshetra Prabhuda. See, the history we know these days is only about, 5,000 years or 2,000 years or whatever. Nobody believed that the universe existed millions of years, human beings existed millions of years ago. But then yesterday only I was seeing that news, they discovered some footprints which are calculated to be 300,000 years old, 3 million years old. So then what is that? All these stories, they say, Christians, they say the earth was created 5,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. No. Whereas we say that the universe is always existing. It goes through cycles. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga, then again destruction, everything. And then again start fresh. So it's Anadir Adir Govindam. So that is the cycle of the universe. And also Kala, what does Kala do? It's a cause of all transformation in Prakriti. Cycle of universe and 6 transformations of the body. What is the 6th transformation? You are born, you grow up for a while, you produce some byproducts, we become old, or we produce some children also, then we grow and then dwindle, the body finishes. So 6 transformations of the body. So this is the photo we are showing. So this is Kala. And the difference between time in material world and spiritual world is, spiritual world there is no effect of time, whereas in material world time actually destroys everything. So that is why it is the energy of the Lord, the most powerful force in the material world. That's why Bhishma Pitama says the same thing, that even though Krishna is with you, how could you go through all this? Kunti Maharani was saying, how could you, Pandavas, he was saying, how could you go through all these troubles, tribulations? And then finally says, as a supreme Kala is actually doing everything like this. Anyway, can we stop here, probably? What's time? iPad, okay. So, all right, 9:40. महाप्रसादे गोविंदे
महाप्रसादे गोविंदे
महाप्रसादे गोविंदे
नमो ब्राह्मणी वैष्णवे
नमो ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे
स्वल्प पुण्यवतम राजन
स्वल्प पुण्यव्रतं राजन
विश्वास नेव जायते
विश्वासो न विजायते
शरीरार विद्या जाय
शरीराण विद्याजा
जनेन्द्रियता है काय
जनेन्द्रियता है का
जीवे फैले विशेष सागरे
जीवे फले विशेषागरे
तारे मध्य जीवाती
तारमते जीवाते
लोभो मोहे सुबुरमती
लोभो माय सुधर्मते
काठे जेठा कड़िम संसारे
ताके जिता घटना संसारे
कृष्ण बड़ा दया मोय
कृष्ण बड़ा दयामय
कारी बारे जीवा जाय
कोड़ी बाड़े जीव जाय
से प्रसाद न दिलो भाई
सब प्रसाद मन दिलो बाय
से नामृता पाओ
सेनामृत पाओ
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ
प्रेमेड़ा कुर्सी चैतन्य निताय
प्रेमेदा को श्री चैतन्य निताय
जय निमाय जय निताय
जय निमाय जय निताय
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
प्रभु नित्यानंद
प्रभु नित्यानंद
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा
श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा
हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे
हरे राम
हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे
हरे हरे। श्री राधा वल्लभ प्रसाद की जय।